How are we feeling? I personally, I feel good. It was a good week leading up to today. I'm excited. Um, I was around a lot of creative energy, especially yesterday, but throughout the entire week. Maybe it's something we talk about today, but before we get into that, we're gonna do what we always do. Spend a little time on focusing on being present in the moment, and then we do that with an exercise in mindfulness. So let's focus on our breath for 10 seconds, and starting now, eyes closed. And as always, I'd like to get our minds going with a quick puzzle or a brain teaser. And today it is until I am measured, I am not known. Yet you miss me when I have flown. What am I? Until I am measured, I am not known. Yet you miss me when I have flown. What am I? Um, as I mentioned, yesterday was interesting for several reasons, but uh, and I want to talk about like specifically class. Like we had a milestone. We had a milestone where my class was allowed to present a prototype of what they've been working on, and it was interesting because to this point, all the creative ideas felt more theory than practical. These were ideas and projects that at one point was just existed in our heads, right? And there was not any tangible representation of it. Like you couldn't visualize it beyond conceptually. Like, hey, this is what I'm thinking of, and this is the process I'm going through to bring it together. But finally, we get to a point where we have a tangible something, and a lot of the times as creatives, it's like it's hard for us to see where we're ultimately going to end up or where we want to end up until we can see it manifest into something we can actually feel and touch. And a lot of that comes with actually taking action on those ideas, and that's one of the things that we talked about last week. But now when we are actually in the creative process, now we're actually molding, we're actually putting pen to paper, we're designing, we're crafting, we're doing this thing, and it's like I'm building this thing and I'm still unsure of what it is going to be. But then you put it together, and it is enough. Um, it has progressed enough that you feel it's ready for somebody outside of yourself to consume it, right? To be able to experience this thing, this art, this design, this concept, for somebody else to be able to experience it, and for you to be able to get an external feedback on what you've created. And that could be uneasy for a lot of us, right? I know how difficult it is for us creatives sometimes to be able to expose ourselves to criticism, right? Vulnerability is one of the things that we tend to have challenges with. So when something we've created has its first external interaction, that could be nerve wracking for a lot of us. So, but then we do it, right? We put ourselves in position to get to this point where it's like, yo, I have something. I have this thing that I've been working on. I don't know that how you're going to receive it, but I'm here presenting it to you for it to be received. And that was interesting, seeing all these ideas, these creative ideas, in a space where it was purely dedicated, and we were intentional about creating a space where we can allow other people to experience the things that we've created. And then it happened. And you realize that it is not just you that appreciates your art. You finally get an opportunity to see how people react to it. And not only are they appreciative of it, they are fascinated by it. They are enthused. They are ecstatic. Their reaction is exactly the reaction you felt when you had this idea in your head and you wanted to create something for somebody to be able to enjoy. And now you have an opportunity to watch them enjoy it, and they do. You finally hit a breakthrough to the point where you are now almost beside yourself. Like, how do you react to that, right? And I always tell myself and my students and most creatives and all creatives, it's like, listen, be present in this moment, right? Appreciate it for what it is. You've hit a breakthrough. You've answered a lot of the questions that you've had to this point, and it's happening real time. And I could see the joy in your face. I could see how this transition happened from uncertainty to confidence to satisfaction. And now you have to enjoy the moment in the moment, real time. And that's what I would tell you to do. Like, understand that you're allowed to do that. Because this is prototype 1. This is not the end product. This is merely almost like a milestone, but a little stop in the process. And I'm using the word stop because I don't want to use the word stop because this is not the end. This is not the final goal. This is literally almost like a layover. That is short enough that you don't feel like you're still not in transit, but long enough for you to relax and prepare for the next leg of the journey. And it's interesting because as much as I want you to be in the moment, I don't want you to be overwhelmed by the moment, right? It's one of those things where you're filled with all these thoughts all at the same time. And then when you realize the magnitude of this moment, right? The satisfaction that comes with it, and the validation, the confirmation that, hey, what I've been working on is working. It worked. Now what, right? Now is where there's a little bit more pressure because you wanted to build this thing to establish a connection in hopes that it actually didn't establish a connection. And when you find out that it did, now what, right? Now it almost feels like there's more pressure. Do I dive deeper? Do I pull back a little? Am I closer to where I need to be, or does this confirmation and validation means that I should go and dive deeper? And that is an interesting dilemma, and the best way out of it, especially as I'm figuring this thing out myself and then collaborating with other creatives is one. Take the findings from that moment, right? You finally have an opportunity for others to consume this thing that you're working on. But now you get to learn how they interact with it. You observe what were their reactions. Was there anything intuitive about the process? What are these findings that you got from that moment that you were able to experience firsthand from a vantage point that you've never had before? And then once you gather those findings, you turn them into insights, right? All right, this is what I took from that. This was what I thought was going to happen. And this is what actually happened. And now you take that and you incorporate it back into your design. You make it a part of the creative process and how you progress forward, right? Because innovation and design and creativity is a ever evolving process, and it's a constant and a dynamic process. And I think if the idea you had and the way you thought you were going to accomplish it is the same as it was when it started, then I don't think that you were pushing the boundaries of the creative process or creativity in general. I feel like as time progresses, you're introduced to new ways of thinking, new possibilities, new outcomes, and all those shape how you continue to move forward in this creative process and doing this creative journey. But now that you've gathered these findings and put together insights based off that, now you have to put an actionable plan and put actionable items in place to say, okay, this is the new way forward. Now, with this reassurance that I am on the right path, this can now propel me or be the catalyst that I need to be able to see this thing through. And I think breakthroughs aren't meant to be stopping points. Breakthroughs aren't the end. They are the gateway to the next layer, to the next stage of where your creative journey is going to take you. And I think it's important for us to realize that, like, hey, this serves as purely validation of what it is that I ultimately set out to do, and that I am, in fact, on the right path. What can I do from what I found and what I gathered that'll help me continue to kind of work down this path? Now, as much as I'm telling you to take these findings and insights, I want it to also act as reassurance that, one, you shouldn't overthink it. Whatever got you to this point can help you through this point as well, right? Whatever got you to this breakthrough will help you pass this breakthrough and help you prepare for the future breakthroughs to come. And sometimes as creatives, we have a tendency to maybe overcomplicate things, even overproduce when we're trying to get to the next milestone. And then you'll learn that a part of this is just trusting the entire process of trusting the entire creative process and not overthinking. You'll realize that especially the hope is that this breakthrough serves as confirmation that this process is a lot simpler than you originally expected it to be. And then you also realize that a lot of the things that work was because of how simplistic some of the approaches were. I think we tend to overcomplicate a lot of our ideas in the process itself. Thinking that it requires that. When I think back at a lot of the projects that I've been involved in and a lot of the things that I've created, a lot of my breakthroughs and success came when I simplified the experience, when I simplified the message, when I simplified the process itself. I think a lot goes on in the creative process, and I feel like sometimes what breakthroughs do is help us to realize that this doesn't have to be a complicated process. And I think once we learn to appreciate ourselves and our creative journey, and I think that's another thing that breakthroughs do for us. It gives us an opportunity to start trusting ourselves again, trusting our intuition, trusting our abilities to connect, not only to ourselves but connect to other people. And breakthroughs in creativity serves as validation of that, right? That we are on the right path and we are continuing down that path. And for a lot of us, it can mean like, hey, don't change anything. It's working, right? And that doesn't mean don't innovate, or it doesn't mean don't expand upon the ideas. I'm saying the process that got you here, foundationally, you can rely on it to help propel you further down this creative journey. And it is satisfying to have those breakthroughs. It is satisfying to see people react to the things that you create. But it can be overwhelming sometimes too. It can put you in this position. And like I've said earlier, it's like, what now, right? Like, what next? How do I top this thing? Or do I stop here? Do I go? In what direction do I go now? It's like, there's all these questions. And I always tell you, just go back to why you started this. And as long as you are on path to continuing to answer your why, then you are heading in the right direction. Now, as much as this milestone can get you to the next, it doesn't guarantee that the next one will come any sooner than the last, or that it'll ever come, right? The beauty about creativity, it's as it is evolved, it is still up to whoever you're designing for. It's up to them to almost, I don't want to say validate, because I think every creative work serves a purpose, and every creative work has a space where it is valued. And as much as one breakthrough can lead to another that breakthrough doesn't necessarily guarantee the next. And when that next one takes a little longer to come, I don't know that that is confirmation that you are not working or going down the right path. I think a part of the process is being able to adapt and adjust, and that is something that we as creatives have to do on a constant basis. So I'm saying that to say this: breakthroughs are important. They are needed. Um, they are that rejuvenating charge that we need as creatives. And as I sat in a room filled with designers and creatives who were building amazing projects, and I saw them for the first time bring to life a lot of their ideas, and then having somebody else experience them, I saw gratitude, I saw appreciation, I saw confidence in self, I saw reassurance. I saw all these things, but I also saw at the end of it, as much as there was some certainty that came with this breakthrough, there was uncertainty as the on the way forward, because now it's like, oh, now I really got to deliver, because I feel all this pressure, and it's almost like the validation brought some doubt, because I don't know if I could continue this thing. The reactions to my project were so overwhelmingly good that how do I top this? And I think that is not a bad space to be in. And I'm telling you that you can. And I'm telling you that you will. But with that said, I don't want to prolong this any longer than it should. Keep experimenting. Keep experimenting. Keep pushing the boundaries of every idea that you've ever had, and use this breakthrough as a catalyst for your next. I will end how we started, with the brain teaser. Until I am measured, I am not known. Yet how you miss me when I have flown. What am I? I am time. As always, it was a pleasure. And I will end how I always end. Go be great.